Hello everyone from a new and again English video. I decided to make this video because I got very good feedback on my first video where I spoke completely in English and you said that I should make a new one, and thank you for that. In this video I will try to tell you the strange things that happened to us during our 1 week journey with my 4 friends. Now let's get right to the video. First of all, it was the second week of May and our final exams hadn't yet started. That's why we had to plan such a trip as soon as possible, because we were going to return to Turkey after the exams were over. We made a quick plan and took care of the rental car first. Early the next morning, we left the dormitory with our bags, sleeping bags and tent. We set off from Klaipėda and our first stop would be Riga, Latvia. There was only one question in our minds throughout the trip: can we cross the border? Because there was an extra cost to travel during the COVID period, and that was to have a COVID test. Since the test costs are also expensive, we thought that we would go and cross the border somehow without being tested. Fortunately, we crossed the Latvian border without any problems and were now in Latvia. We went directly to Riga. Considering the places we will visit in the future, this was my favorite city. A river ran through the middle of the city, and although there were both historical buildings and modern ones, the view didn't bother you. We traveled all day in Riga. The only thing I didn't like was the problem we had in parking the car, which we experienced in all the cities we went to in the future. Our time in Riga was up, and before it was too late in the evening, we were on our way to Tallinn, Estonia. We crossed the Estonian border easily, perhaps because it was night and there was no police control. We stopped very close to Tallinn and it was quite late now. We needed to sleep. We immediately found an empty space and set up our tent and spent the night there. The tent was for 3 people and 1 person preferred to sleep in the car. When we got up in the morning, we drove to Tallinn without waiting. Tallinn was a beautiful city. There were not many modern buildings and we encountered more historical buildings. We went to the car and ate at a Turkish restaurant there. And while we were visiting a museum, it suddenly started to rain. That's why we were stuck in the museum for a while. My favorite thing about Tallinn was the internet was free in the center and it was fast. Also, another thing caught my attention was that a crowd of people had gathered at that time. I don't know what they were doing, but they were very persistent in what they supported and didn't leave even when it was raining. That day was also spent in Tallinn, and in the evening we decided to set out for Vilnius. Actually, we saw Vilnius on the first day we arrived, but it was a very short time and we couldn't visit it completely. That's why we include Vilnius in our trip. We could sometimes have differences of opinion during the journey, but then we forgot and continued to enjoy the journey somehow. When we finally re-entered the Lithuanian border, it was already late and we set up our tent and fall asleep as soon as possible. One of good things about camping was being able to stop and sleep wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted. After spending the night there, we drove to Vilnius early in the morning. Again in Vilnius, we encountered a strange situation due to the difficulties we had in parking the car. When we couldn't find free parking, we entered the garden of an apartment building, and as soon as we parked our car in an empty area, a woman from the car on the opposite side took a photo of us and the car. I don't know why she did this, but I was sure that the area where we parked the car wasn't someone's parking area. Then the woman just drove off, and we decided to take the car from there and park somewhere else. We were only going to tour for a few hours and we didn't want to pay for parking. After parking the car, we wandered around Vilnius Old Town for a bit and then moved on to Trakai. After visiting and eating here for a few hours, we decided to set out for Poland in the evening. Our first stop was going to be Warsaw, and the thing we were most worried about was whether we could cross the Polish border. We were somewhat justified in this trouble, because when we arrived at the Polish border, we were completely disappointed. Two police officers were waiting at the border, and when they saw our car, they stopped it. I was driving the car, and after giving the necessary documents, they also asked us for a COVID test. Although we said that we didn't have a COVID test and that we would go back for a day, and we backed a little. This didn't seem possible. In fact, the female police officer seemed to let us pass, but the male policeman said that we couldn't pass, we had to go back. Just at this time, we were thinking about what to do when we thought that there was another border entrance, and we decided to try our luck there. Just then it started to rain heavily. As we approached the border, a police vehicle was waiting for us, but it was getting dark and the rain had increased. The police officers didn't stop us when they got in the car to avoid getting wet, and we managed to cross the Polish border in this way just by chance. We have progressed a little, everything was fine. Now we were in Poland and we needed to sleep as soon as possible. It was late, we set up our tent, everyone took their places, and as we were about to fall asleep, we were startled by the sound of the police siren. What we were thinking at that time was like a movie in itself. We were caught, we thought we would be deported. We came out of the tent and were trying to figure out what was going on. We parked the car right on the side of the road, and fortunately that was the purpose of the police's arrival. He told us to park the car a little further from the road and left, so we did as we were told. Of course, we felt a great relief during this time, but we still didn't get over this shock until the next day. The next morning we were in Warsaw and decided to rent an apartment because we needed a shower, we needed to relax, and I needed to make an important presentation. We arranged everything, we rented the room, but the security wouldn't let us in because we had a little trouble with the door password. Security wasn't helpful at all. We couldn't get along because we didn't speak Polish. Fortunately, someone who speaks English came to our aid and we got into the house as soon as possible and relaxed. That day we toured Warsaw until the evening and spent the night there. The next day I made my presentation and we left this site with the damn security guard. It was noon and we had enough time to visit another city in Poland. We immediately set out for Krakow and toured in Krakow that day. we came across Erasmus students like us. They were also from Turkey. He took a souvenir photo and continued walking. Poland was literally an Erasmus country, I can easily say that. Although we didn't want to leave, we have now come to the end of our Polish adventure. That day we set out from Krakow in the evening and we had to keep moving forward because we were going to camp after crossing the border and visit Kaunas the next day. After an 8-hour journey, we re-entered the Lithuanian border and it was around 3 or 4 at night. So whenever we found, we set up our tent and slept. The next morning we awoke to strange talking sounds and found an old lady right next to our tent. Yes, the place where we pitched our tent was a field and this lady was the owner of this field. She was a bit of a nervous person and kept muttering, pointing to where we set up the tent. We didn't realize that there was a field because we came here at night and were tired. But again, the field wasn't cultivated. The woman said she would call the police. She took our picture. Meanwhile, we were trying to calm her down, and on the other hand, we were packing our tent, but she didn't seem to calm down at all. She was still talking behind us as we finally got into the car. This was definitely the weirdest thing we have had during the trip, and this old lady really gave us a lot of trouble. Finally, we were in Kaunas now, and we were quite tired as we hadn't slept well at night. I can say that we visit Kaunas to have a little tour now. Being on the roads and traveling for a week really tired us. We made a short trip in Kaunas, visit the Nazi camp and went to the 9th fort. Since it's not a very big place, we walked around right away. At the end of the day, we had come to the end of our 1 week trip and we were on our way back to Klaipėda. This journey where we lived and experienced various adventures was very good for us and we didn't regret it at all. We had visit exactly 4 countries and 6 cities. Moreover, we did all of this at the least cost and in a pleasant way. That was the best part. I've already shared all my experiences in the form of videos. You can click on the card to watch these videos. Yes, now we have come to end of this video. I hope the video was clear and you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until we see you in a new video. Also, I wanna say that all my videos has English and other language subtitles. You can easily watch them. Until we will meet a new video, take care of.